Most people agree when it comes to the top book in the Harry Potter series, but I don't, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. So today, I'm gonna rank every book in the series, starting with book 1, to see who lands on top. Book 1, The Sorcerer's Stone, it gets a 6.22 out of 10. And for those of you new to my channel, I like to do a rating on a scale of 1 to 10 rather than the Goodreads up to 5 scale. I think that leaves too much room for error, too much room for confusion. So yeah, for reference, 6.22. For me, that's above average. J.K. Rowling instantly creates this world of wonder. It's an incredible intro into the wizarding world and into this series. It starts small with flying letters and talking snakes, but when Hagrid enters that scene, the fantasy fire hose is open. You've got goblins, and you've got wizards, and you've got magic, and you've got wands. You've got this iconic first train ride from platform 9 3/4 straight up to the school, which in and of itself, Hogwarts is this beautiful, living, breathing thing. You've got a talking hat that picks out your dorm, and then talking portraits that lead you to it. As long as you don't have a fear of inanimate objects talking, yeah, you're gonna love it. But here's the thing. It feels messy in spots, like she wanted to use up all these fun ideas and topics because she was afraid she wouldn't be able to publish a second book. Dragons, trolls, three-headed dogs, a unicorn massacre in the forest. Okay, not really sure how that one slipped in. And all the characters are so surface level. Ron and Harry, Hermione, Dumbledore, Hagrid, there's not much to them, which means that Rowling has to spell out emotion on the page in the early going, instead of the reader actually feeling it. Cap that all off with a crazy ending where the main villain is glued to the back of your twitchy professor's head, yeah, it's a little tough to take in. And of course, I'm being critical, I'm asking a lot, but there is so much room to grow, and it's such a fantastic foundation for this series kicking off. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, are we going higher? Are we going lower? Are we going higher? Are we going lower? We're going with a 4.59. Yes, this is definitely lower. Unfortunately, not quite as good. There's awesome parts to this book. You have the leveling up of the wizarding world. You get to experience more of it. You're getting the depths of Nocturne Alley. You're getting the Ministry of Magic introduced, Ron Weasley's house, the Burrow, and you've got Dobby, who starts out annoying. No, don't tell me otherwise. He really does start out annoying, but he turns out to be lovable in the end. It's also where we see this kind of wizarding classism, blood purity start to drip in. Politics are being layered in. It's the beginning of the building blocks of the bigger story. Even the basilisk, with its ability to petrify, that brings the stakes higher, but you can juxtapose the brute force of the basilisk with Tom Riddle and the diary. It's emotional manipulation. It's psychological warfare. But when you do think about the logistics, Voldemort being the type of guy to keep a diary doesn't exactly add up. I also loved how much Hagrid grows in this book. He's an unsung hero. He's quietly one of the best written characters to this point. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Follow the Spiders is iconic for a reason. But where it loses it for me is that this thing is built almost the same way as Sorcerer's Stone. It follows the same type of sequence of plot points. You got a mystery, you follow the clues, you end up in the Forbidden Forest, you face the villain, Harry's alone, and then he passes out, and we go on to the next book. Not to mention the crazy divine intervention of Fawkes and the Sorting Hat and the sword and the basilisk, and it's just what the heck? And when it comes to the adults, this book may be the peak of incompetence. Lockhart's just a complete joke of a professor, although he does bring some lighthearted moments to the story. But like, how do the teachers miss a giant snake in the plumbing? How does nobody diagnose petrification properly? And also, after we've had Mirror of Desire spelled backwards, now we have I am Lord Voldemort as an anagram. It's sort of the reusing and this kind of laziness that I'm just not loving. There's a lot of strong ideas, but there's also a lot of missed opportunities and plot holes. So for that reason, I can't put it any higher than I did. The good news is, and it should be no surprise, it got better with Prisoner of Azkaban. I give this a 7/11 out of 10. It is by far, to this point, the best in the series. There is a massive maturity jump, and it starts with soul-sucking, joy-killing Dementors. This book makes no bones about it. Things are going to get darker. The character growth in this one is actually getting somewhere. Harry and his feeling of loneliness, it connects, it makes sense. Sirius and Lupin, they're not just two professors who have status, they're morally gray characters. No more this is the good guy and this is the bad guy. Of course, they're not the bad guys, but they are walking this blurred line of right and wrong. When it comes to world building, we continue to expand, like what it means to be an animagus, or Hogsmeade being introduced. The Marauders map is definitively the best magical tool to date. No more flying cards or wizarding gadgets. We've got something real and useful. It also ties in the past history of the school. Sirius Black is an awesome character, and he introduces this crazy double plot twist where he's innocent and Pettigrew's the bad one. When plot points click together, it's even more satisfying, and she nailed it. The ending is not what I expected. It was shockingly good. I mean, you don't get that instant gratification of, hey, Sirius is innocent, now he's free. No, they have to play it a different way, and he ends up on the run, which is kind of this delayed gratification situation. And of course the time turner, which time travel can be such a sticky wicket, but I think they handled it really well. It also does something pretty dramatic. It proves that the wizarding world and these stories don't need Voldemort as the focal point, but that doesn't make it infallible. I found Harry to be especially bratty in this book. Feels like he's more concerned with things like getting butterbeer than protecting his friends around him. And while the Dementors are this epic fantasy creature that brings a scary presence, them being at the school does not make a lot of sense, and adults not really intervening when they come at the children is also kind of a problem. It also can be said for a lot of these books, but in this book it feels particularly frustrating because there's so much convenient eavesdropping and overhearing. There's so many info dumps that Harry gets by just being in the right place at the right time. And along the lines of convenience like that, it's also the time turner, which I did enjoy, but it is rather convenient to have, and Dumbledore trusting it with a teenage girl, wow, an all-powerful object like that? Kinda crazy. Also, the biggest plot hole, like, how did nobody notice Peter Pettigrew on the map? They'd been looking at it the whole time. Wouldn't they see this creepy old man sitting in Ron's dorm room? I don't know. Prisoner of Azkaban feels like the first book where she intentionally sat down and goes, I'm gonna bring this from here to here and fill in the puzzle pieces along the way. And that's why it came out so great. So as I'm showering this love fest down on Prisoner of Azkaban, I bet you're wondering, is Goblet of Fire gonna beat it? Heck yeah, it does. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, 7.2 out of 10. This book was awesome. I'm loving how J.K. Rowling makes things more serious, more dark. The dark mark in this one, up in the sky, freaking people out. There are so many layers to the writing. It's a frame it situation, blame Harry for something he didn't do. Barty Crouch is involved, but he's not exactly doing this just to assemble Death Eaters, more to show them, hey, Voldy's back, and you messed up by not paying attention all these years. You've got the new schools with the Beauxbatons and the Durmstangs, and their cultural clash. The Vila, which is such a crazy mythology that it's introduced in. The Triwizard Tournament is so much fun. You've got Harry finally becoming a real hero over the course of these games. I think that's a major character development point for him. He defeats the dragon. He saves Flora's sister underwater. He does what he has to do in the maze. You've got the Pensieve, which is a correction for my earlier complaint about overhearing. And while it's still an info dump, you get to actually see a reaction rather than just overhearing dialogue. And then the darkest, scariest moment of the book series yet, in the graveyard. You've got the maze to the portkey, that transfer, and then boom, Voldemort's there. He's real, and it's going down. To me, it cements it that this is not just a kid's story anymore. You've got the dark arts on full display for Voldemort's resurrection. But what bothers me are there's some frustrating parts, like the Triwizard Tournament happening at all? What the heck? Why? You were in the most dangerous time in the wizarding world in decades. What the heck are you doing bringing this all together? Not to mention the goblet itself. What, Harry can't withdraw? Come on, you can't overpower this magic, Dumbledore? But really, it's little nitpicky things for me. Like, how did they know at the end that when Harry was gonna touch the portkey at the exact time, they had led up to this saying how important it was to be on time with portkeys, and yet this worked out perfectly? Also, why not make a way less complicated portkey for Harry to touch to get to the center of the graveyard? If that were the case, Cedric wouldn't have to die. And then, like, you introduce Veritaserum, but then it's never used when it absolutely should be. What this book really does is it upgrades the world upgrades Harry and introduces so much fun while advancing the plot along and then giving you a crazy payoff at the end. So I know you're out there saying to yourself, we're riding high, we're riding high. Well, we gotta bring you down to earth. This is getting a 5.32. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I'm sorry, but just moderate crash down after what we just experienced. This is a massive chunker. There are tons of pages that are not needed in this story. It's like J.K. Rowling had a page requirement for her book report and she had to fill the quota. But don't get me wrong, this does introduce the Order of the Phoenix, this morally aligned group of imperfect heroes that are so unique and lovable and you want to root for. And you get Luna Lovegood, who is awesome. Maybe I'm weird like her and so I relate and that's why I like her, but she says the most awkward things at the most awkward times. She's kind of sarcastic, but I don't know if she means to be. It's great. You got Dumbledore's army. You got Harry's scar evolving. It's not just about pain, it's also feeling emotion and this connection. You've got prophecy, and every great fantasy series, in my opinion, needs to have a little bit of prophecy going on. Professor Umbridge, who's this crazy villain. All gloves are off when you're outside of school. The battles are way more intense. They're way more real. Death is a real option in these things, and you get to see Voldemort versus Dumbledore, and Voldemort is obviously outmatched, and Dumbledore is clearly showing he is the #1 wizard on the planet. So then, hey, why so low? Is it just because of how long it is? Look, I read Wheel of Time. I am not intimidated by hundreds and thousands of pages. But I don't need Grop. I don't need more Quidditch. I don't need random characters like Marietta being in crucial roles. The magical hearing to start it off just bothered me to no end because they literally have so many magical tools to help them get to the truth of situations, to the bottom of things, and they just do not do it. I'm also slightly bothered by the fact that other people haven't really interacted with, seen, or mentioned Thestrals at any point prior to this. The Sirius situation is an absolute disaster. If you're gonna set up the death of one of the most beloved characters to date, you've gotta do it better. Don't give the tools and then not use them. Find a way to make it really count. And it did. It was still emotional. But to have him go in the way he did when it could have easily be avoided, that doesn't sit well with me. And yes, Harry is a teenager, but there's so much teen angst. It smells like teen spirit up in this book, and there's too much of it. Remember, at the end of the day, I want to read your book and I want to go on to the next one. So you can get the point across that Harry's really going through it, but still make it readable, man. The list of things that bother me just doesn't even stop there. Like, why did the Room of Requirement only just show up now? They've been in school for years. Why didn't Dumbledore just pin down Voldemort magically so they could go at the Horcruxes one at a time? I mean, in retrospect, now that we know that was the thing, why he stalled him, proof to the Ministry, well, you could have pinned him down and you could have went after Horcruxes one by one. But you didn't. And probably one of the things that's never resolved for me in this series and bothers me from here to the end is, why is blood purity so important? It's really never explained. So yes, there are incredible ideas in this book, and powerful themes, and serious tragedies, but it's just not enough for me. Which is why I say thank you for bringing us HalfBlood Prince. It is a 6.79. We're moving up in the world, baby. We are back. We get to see the wizarding world collide with the real world politics with the Prime Minister. It's getting serious. The impact is massive. You got the unbreakable vow. You've got Slughorn as a professor added in. Snape gets to be the dark arts teacher, and Slughorn is this morally corrupt sellout, and it's just crazy. You have no idea where it's gonna lead. And Dumbledore finally takes center stage. He's getting involved. He's getting involved now. It's so exciting, even though a lot of these are through the pensive moments and learning about memories, and not like this one-on-one coaching I thought it might be. It's still cool, and you get true world building and true backstory. You got Draco and his Voldemort mob hit skills trying to whack Dumbledore, and it's not working. And you got the HalfBlood Prince book, which leads Harry to Sectum Sempra, which is this crazy emotional roller coaster because he's blindly trusting in this person that he does not know, and it ends up almost killing Malfoy. Even Felix Felicus is a potion. It's not overpowered, but it's a nice little twist of luck that makes so many fun storylines take form. And then you've got the cave, which may be my favorite Harry Potter chapter in history. You've got the blood toll to get in. You got crossing the lake. You've got Dumbledore drinking down this nasty potion, dealing with psychological trauma, taking the boat back back and getting out of there across a lake of inferi. This is crazy. Malfoy and Dumbledore, he can't connect, he can't save the boy, and then Snape taking him out, he has to kill him. It's all awful. But there are some things that just didn't work. Dumbledore is kind of the source of most of my grievances in this book. It's frustrating too because I love him as a character, but I think he just withheld way too much from Harry, which shows him flawed, and I think maybe that's part of the point. He also knows that Draco is trying to kill him, so to let him prance around and go on all these assassination type of attempts, it's hurting other students, so it's time to step in. The cursed ring, like, why would you put that on Dumbledore? You're so much smarter than that. You can't remove it from what it really is. It's a setup book from the finale, kind of in disguise, but it really is just that, like getting Harry prepared to take on his foe in the final book. So the finale. Where are we gonna land? Where are we going to land? Can we top the Goblet of Fire? I'm here to tell you, and against the grain, yes we can. This is the best book in the series, by far, a 7.98 out of 10, my favorite Harry Potter book. The opening is brutal. You got Snape leaking the plan, you got a crazy situation with a lady levitating above the table, and then you got the 7 Harrys busting out into the atmosphere. People are going down, Hedwig dies, Moody dies, it's sad, it's tragic, it's crazy. You got Lupin screaming at Harry, you got people worrying about Mundungus. It is wild. Snape playing a double role, a double spy, a double agent throughout this series and throughout this book, but what hurts me is why he's doing it. Like the whole Lily backstory. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. This could have been easily a 9+ out of 10. I have very few books in my life that I put that high, but I just did not like Snape's motivations. It's all guilt-driven and not character arc improvement. But that doesn't take away from his death in the end, thwarting Voldemort by him not actually getting the Elder Wand, doing what he has to do. And speaking of emotional tolls, Kreacher and Regulus, I mean, bam! Sometimes when stuff comes out of left field in the final book, I get frustrated, but to see what Kreacher's backstory is and what Regulus did for him, I mean, the two bouncing off of each other, oh, come on. It goes so deep into how flawed Dumbledore is. You get more of his past, so that's very interesting. And Harry learns from this because he doesn't want to repeat Dumbledore's mistakes. He learns to trust in his friends, especially in Neville, whose come up is maximized in this book. I mean, he's launching mandrake grenades, he's fighting in this school's defense, he's going out there slaying Nagini, destroying that final Horcrux that Harry needed before he makes his final move. It harkens back to what I said about the first book, where Rowling was writing and spelling out the emotion on the page, but this time, now in book 7, the reader feels it. Think back to when Ron's in the forest. He comes to Harry's rescue. They get the sword of Gryffindor. He pulls him out of this icy cold water, and he stabs it and destroys the Horcrux and saves his friend, reconnects with Hermione. I mean, it's so good. And Dobby going out like a hero? Dobby has no master. He crushed it. But she hasn't lost who she is as an author either, because she still puts fun scenes in to break up the emotional weight, the break out of Gringotts with the duplicating objects in the safe and breaking out on a dragon's back. I mean, come on. Other than the Snape thing, it's honestly just a couple of logic flaws that I dock this any points for. Like, why don't they reproduce food for themselves? They know there's a charm to do it. Hermione expressly says it. Also, why do they wear the locket all the time? They know it's harming them. Why does Harry insist on saying Voldemort's name when Ron's been screaming in his ear that it's taboo? We're seeing house elves be super OP in this book, so why aren't they used more? And I'm aware I'm being nitpicky. It's not like I think that Ron remembering Parseltongue makes this a 3 out of 10, but then Harry in the end twisting the prophecy on its head, making the ultimate sacrifice fearlessly, courageously, like the Sorting Hat said from the start, like everything Dumbledore said he saw in him. This is truly a magnificent book. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's how I've got it. That's how I've got it. Also, by the way, I know I gotta upgrade these two from the book club edition. It's bothering me probably just as much as it's bothering you right now. I gotta put Deathly Hallows on top. I know a lot of you aren't gonna agree, but I'm sorry. Deathly Hallows, best in class. But hey, you know what's fun about it too? Learning your ratings, learning your rankings. What are your favorite books? Drop a comment below and let me know what your feelings are. That's why it's awesome to be part of the reading community. And if you want to know how I didn't just like poof these numbers out of nowhere, these ratings were well thought out. I've been collecting my thoughts on the Harry Potter series for some time now. And for those of you following along, I've been doing book reviews. And if you want to see those book reviews, I'm going to link each and every one in the description below for you to check out if you're interested. So if you like this review and you like this video, drop a like. If you want to chat about it, drop a comment. And if you had a good time and want to see more, subscribe, because there will be more coming your way. And remember folks, a chapter a day keeps the brain rot away.